Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about science. The University of Georgia, known as the Bulldogs, sent out this rather remarkable memo to their student population. I'm not going to read it out loud because it's pretty disgusting, but there's a couple parts which I want to talk about. Consider wearing a face mask during sex. Heavy breathing and panting can further spread the virus, and wearing a mask can reduce the risk. Avoid kissing and be creative with sexual positions that reduce close face-to-face contact. So the gist of this memo is telling people to avoid intimacy. Humans are the only mammals which have sex face-to-face and which kiss during intercourse. Bulldogs may prefer non-intimate sexual positions, but for humans it's very important. This memo is very dehumanizing and it's also nonsensical. What they're suggesting is using a cloth face mask to prevent the spread of a virus. If cloth can prevent the spread of a virus, then why do people need latex condoms to prevent the spread of HIV? The only way to prevent the spread of a virus is with an impenetrable sealed barrier, and masks are simply not going to do that. Let's take a look now at how effective masks actually are. It says right on the mask box, this will not provide any protection against COVID-19 or other viruses. So why is the school telling students to wear them? The mask is obviously not going to serve any purpose during sex other than to prevent intimacy. Let's take a look now at what the actual risk is for people under the age of 25. This graph is from the Center for Disease Control and shows in red weekly deaths for people under the age of 25 years old in the United States during the year 2020. And the 5 gray lines show weekly deaths in the United States for the same age group from the years 2015 through 2019. You can see that deaths this year in the United States for people under the age of 25 have been a little bit below normal. This graph shows very clearly that the risk of death for undergraduates from COVID-19 is very low. And in fact, the Center for Disease Control says that the risk of death for children from flu is 5 to 10 times higher than COVID-19.
The risk per 100,000 so far, into the outbreak, 6 months into it, is in fact that we're looking at about 0.1 per 100,000. So another way to say that it's 1 in a million. Now, I'm not trying to belittle that. I'm just trying to make sure we look at it proportional, because if you do the same thing for influenza deaths for school-age children over the last 5 years, they're anywhere from 5 to 10 times greater. So I want people to understand the risk properly as they make that decision.
The risk is a little bit higher for college students than it is for school-age children, but as you can see from this graph, it's not very high. There are going to be some college students which die from this disease, just like there are from flu, alcohol poisoning, and in automobile accidents. Normally we accept the fact that risk is a part of life and that life must go on, particularly for young people. Let's go back 50 years to the 1968-1969 Hong Kong flu epidemic. That epidemic killed 1 million people worldwide and 100,000 people in the United States. But nobody would have thought of shutting down the lives of young people. The world's largest concert was held at Woodstock in 1969. Sex and drugs were rampant, and nobody was going to tell these young people not to have their fun. Can you imagine going around to this group and telling them to wear face masks while kissing? I don't think that would have gone over very well. There are pictures online which are purportedly Bernie Sanders naked at Woodstock. I don't know if those pictures are real or not, but if they are, they provide a good explanation for why Bernie has such an angry personality. The world was quite a different place 50 years ago, when boomers valued freedom over security. The Big Ten football conference just voted not to have a season this year because of COVID-19. As we have already seen, the death risk for college football players from COVID-19 is quite low. And if they're worried about the coaches, why don't they simply cover the coaches' faces with masks? They keep telling us how well masks work and how important they are to prevent the spread of a virus. It's almost like they don't actually believe it. Toto thinks that much of the world has gone insane, and I would have to agree with him. You can visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science and propaganda for a long time.